professional. Welcome to OUTTAKE ESL. This is Sean. Welcome to OUTTAKE ESL. Kind of video. Looking a little bit like Leon Professional here. But what I want to do today is go over a lesson I do for fourth graders. This is a lesson I do for a fourth grade class that I picked up recently, and it was based on the really the phrase, or the present continuous tense or future simple tense, whatever you want to call it. I tend to explain that it's kind of both present continuous and future, because when you engage in a plan, it's really never it's always something that's going to exist in a future sense. So I always kind of explain that am going to or are going to is also present continuous, and it's also considered a simple future tense. But this was in their curriculum, in their textbook. They had a whole unit just on are going to. Now with fourth graders, I wouldn't get into much explanation. I just wanted to look at the words and the usage. So this is I keep it pretty remedial in this lesson. So let's get started. Take a look at going to, and here you have kind of a planner with some activities. So at the beginning of the class, I might ask them, see if they know what this is, taking pictures. Where is this? Park, a zoo. General questions. Like I always do, I like to start off my class with the opening salutation. Good morning, Mr. Sardo, or good afternoon, Mr. Sardo. I like to go over the rules, always refresh these. Please listen. Please sit down. No eating, no drinking. Don't scream. I kind of added this in recently. I found the speaking levels were getting a little bit too noisy, a little bit disruptive for the other classes in the school. So I started asking them to not scream anymore and speak English. And this is kind of where I like to start the class. Like I said, I have their names. I really, recommend getting their names, sending out a name list, because you can do little opening, quick little discussions with, little conversations with a couple students. How are you? Gives me a chance to kind of go over some language. My students were having some trouble. They were getting a bit confused on the question, how old are you and how are you? So sometimes if you ask them, how are you? They say, I'm 11. So they're a bit confused on that. So I kind of take that time in the morning, just kind of refresh those sort of basic conversational sort of questions and answers. Basically, go over that, and it's also time to sort of introduce the reward system for the class. With my fourth grade class, I decided to just do rock, paper, scissors. Really kind of the best thing I found in sort of moving the class along, because it just allows you to kind of stay on the platform and play a game with the kids in the back of the room, or you don't really have to go out there, take the time to walk out to a student, like with dice and things like that. Another good game are board games where the student can call out things, but here, paper, scissors, they kind of really enjoy it, so stick to that. And this was a new class, so I can kind of use it with them. I go over what rock, paper, scissors means. I do kind of a sample game here, because it's our first class. 1, 2, 3, what's this? Paper, what's this? Rock. Paper beats rock. Draw a point on the board. And with the fourth grade class, like all of my classes, I like to do a warm up. I hold it kind of akin to stretching out before a game, or stretching out before sports practice. So I do. All right, everybody, get warmed up here. Let's get stretched out here. And with the fourth graders, I didn't want to get too involved with symbols, the phonetic symbols. So here I just kind of broke up a word, and I went through their textbook and found the words that were the focus of the unit, and kind of broke them up into syllables or stresses, and just kind of put visit, visit, visit. What's the word? visit. And they picked up on this pretty good. Paper, scissors, stone. Everybody gets it. They get z, ooh. What's the word? Zoo. Kind of based on an electric company. If you grew up in the 1970s, there was a show called The Electric Company on public broadcasting channel, and you had a silhouette of one head and a silhouette of another head that would come in, and one would say one syllable and the other would say the other syllable, and then the word would come together and they would say the word together. So C, S, E, C. And you could probably do something like with that. I never have actually done this in the classroom, but you could probably have one side of the classroom do one syllable and the other side do the other, and then put it together. Could. It's kind of a tough one because you have O clock. Kind of a contraction there. It should. Or sit. And then we get involved in the conversational part of the classroom. So that's just kind of a warm up. It also gives me a chance to start, the students get some chance to earn some points. You just kind of drill in the words as you go through them. I started out with just the statement, just the sentence, I am going to, and I tried to look at different pronouns, using that with different pronouns, different subjects. I started out with listening.
We are going on a family vacation.
Just to repeat it if they can. This is a little bit tough for the fourth graders.
We are going to visit new places. We are going to swim in the ocean. I'm going to collect shells. My brother and I are going to build sandcastles. I can't wait. It's going to be so fun.
So here I usually just kind of have them try and repeat what they heard or leave a word out and have them see if they can isolate that word. Then I went through the different pronouns when we use the phrase going to. So I'm talking about me, I say I am going to. And just kind of work on the conjugation here. If it's not me, if it's you are going to. And so with this slide I'll go through, you can say I am, and what's this? You are. Maybe just do a couple games. I am. You are. I am. And you get to say the whole thing. I am going to. You are going to. And then we do the next pronouns. This is a boy, so I'm going to say she is going to. This is a girl, so I'm going to say she is going to. So I'll find a boy, and tap on his desk. He is going to. Girl. He is going to. Have some fun with it. And we do you, me, you, and you. So we are going to. I have these two. They. I'm going to have it. It is going to, right? So here I might just go, we are, what's this? We are going to, tap on two people's desks. They are going to. We are going to. They are going to. They are going to. And then I throw an it. Maybe I'll just hold the phone. It is going to. A piece of chalk or an eraser. It is going to. It is going to. They are going to. We are going to. And then maybe refresh. I am going to. You are going to. Maybe just do a male student or a female student. And then we have a listening exercise. Where is that? Let me grab it here. These are listening exercises that I wrote for the class specifically because I couldn't really find anything with the specific language in their textbook, so I kind of come up with my own listening exercise here. Just kind of I have A, B, C, D, E, and F. Number one. Number one is Tom going to fish? No, he is going to swim. Which one do you think that is? This is the wrong one. This is not the right one. There it is. There you go. All right, so number one, it goes, I'll read out to the class. Tomorrow, Tom is going to visit the zoo. Tomorrow, Tom is going to visit the zoo. What do you think I'm talking about? D. Number two, I'm going to watch some TV after school today. Hey, number three, we're going to the beach on vacation next month. See, very good. Number four, are you going to fly a kite at the park? B, very good. She is going to fish at the lake tomorrow. And six, they are going to ride horses at the farm. And so I introduced some things to do, and I don't know why I didn't do it this way. This is a little bit early. So I introduced some things to do here. Go to the beach, go to the park, fish and swim. And just kind of go over them. Go to the beach. What's this? Go to the park. And I play the memory game. I take them away next. Okay, what was this one? And team one, what was this here? For hand. No. Go to the park. Very good, very good. And maybe I'll go back. All right, team two. What was the fourth one? What was this one here? Swim, very good. Do some other things, some other activities to do you might plan on doing. Take pictures, visit the zoo, fly a kite, visit grandma. Now they have the possessive pronoun my grandma, but I feel it's okay to just kind of leave it out. So, because I didn't really, for the fourth graders, I hadn't really done a lesson with possessive pronouns, so I didn't really feel like I wanted to get involved with that. So I just left it as visit grandma. And you could say more if you like. Then you do the same memory game. What's number two? Team one. What's number two? What's number three? You do this exercise here. Just kind of review it. Say it in English. What's this? Chinese. Kind of one dong yang. Very good. Chinese. Chinese. I think it's important too, because in Chinese there's sometimes there's many different words for the same thing, whereas Chinese, like Kaiban, like ocean and sea, are two different words in the English language, and to some extent can mean, well, yeah, there's specific bodies of water, but in Chinese they're kind of the same. So I think it's important to bring in the Chinese here for the students to understand, to start to get the idea, so they start to recognize that sometimes in Chinese it has more than one meaning. In English, that sometimes there's words that mean the same thing in Chinese. Different words in English that mean the same thing in Chinese, I guess is what I'm trying to say. Go to the park. Ride a horse. Fly a kite. It's all, I'm always looking for somebody to raise their hand and trying to reward the kids who are sitting down and raising their hand, and letting them play the game. Sometimes the kids that are really active or really enthusiastic, so they're always jumping up, or they're trying to move to the front of the class, they're trying to walk down the aisle, creep up to the front of the classroom, and usually they're really, a lot of the smart kids like to do that, or a lot of the kids, I'm not going to say smart, the kids that are very proficient in English, necessary. They're always trying to get closer to the teacher, and so but I'm trying to get them to always like before I give you the opportunity, I'd like to go back to your seat, sit down, and raise your hand. Okay, please get back there. And it doesn't, as far as disciplining them, I don't want to cut them right out of the class for that kind of misbehavior because they're showing a great deal of efficiency. So it's just kind of like you're trying to constantly ask them to go back and sit down. Please sit down, raise your hand, so they don't have to be so, aggressive about answering the question. This exercise here, it's just basically I'm going to go around, I'm going to take pictures, yes, paper, scissors, stones, I'm going to fish. I'm going to yes, paper, scissors, stone. Go through that in the class, give you a chance. Here I tried to do something a little bit different. I actually ended up skipping over this slide because I want to introduce the idea of the future being today. It can be today or tomorrow. So today or tomorrow, I'm going to, what's this? I'm going to fish. And then I'll have the student guess. Today or tomorrow? I'm going to fish today. I'm going to fish tomorrow. So the student has to tell you when they're going to do it. I'm going to fish tomorrow. All right, let's see. Yes, paper, scissors, stone. All right, what's next? I'm going to the beach. I'm going to the beach today or tomorrow. I'm going to the beach today or tomorrow. Who knows? I'm going to the beach today. Yeah, paper, scissors, stone. I'm going to what? Take pictures. I'm going to take pictures today or tomorrow. I'm going to take pictures tomorrow. Yes, I'm good at this. So, I'm going to ride a horse today or tomorrow. I'm going to ride a horse today. I'm so good at this. I'm going to visit the zoo today or tomorrow. I'm going to the zoo today. I am so good at this. I'm going to swim tomorrow. No. Let's do this one time. Go ahead and match the shapes, and I have the different pronouns here, and I have the different activities, so I'm looking for them to make a sentence. So you might say, they are going to ride a horse. They are going to ride a horse. Let's see here. No, not a match. They are going to take pictures. Yes, paper, scissors, stone. It is going to the beach. Go to the beach. Boom, paper, scissors, stone. We are going to the park. Just a basic kind of matching game. Usually if they get it wrong, said we are going to ride a horse. I say no, and I'll kind of click it back. So the next, it's a little bit of a memory game. A couple slides of this, I believe. Yep, I got he, she, they, I, and this. Fish, so I am going to, my grandma, no. I am going to fish. No. I am going to swim. There you go. And this game is just kind of based on points. I'm just looking for them to make sentences, just as they were doing with the memory game. But here I am adding up points. So I'll have each team go until the board is clean. I will just kind of write down how many points. So if he says he is going to fish, all right, so 4 points for team 1. Team 2, she is going to visit the zoo, 6 points. That's 4, 6. We are going to fly a kite, 10 points. Right on team 1. You are going to swim, 9 points. So I go through it till everybody has made a sentence. I'm going to the park. They're going to ride a horse. Add up all their points. Team 1, add up all their points. Team 2, whoever wins gets the point. And then just make it 1 point If you want to make a little challenge, you can say, okay, 5 points. And just kind of wrapping it up, 10-second chats. I got some words here that we used. Give me a sentence. I'm going to the beach. Very good. I'm going to fish. Very good. We're going to sleep. I'm going to ride a horse. She's going to find that. 10-second chats. Like I say, with this activity, I go around the classroom. Maybe I'll pick a student and I'll say, ready? 10 seconds. Give me a sentence. Visit. I'm going to visit Grandma. Very good. Pick a stone. Alright, and this is the next week. So that was 1 week, and this would be the next week. Let's go back. The following week, I kind of wanted to look at the question part of this unit, and that was, are you going to, or what are you going to do? The interrogative and the yes/no question. And we kind of based it on Sports Day, so I tried to use that imagery. All this imagery, once again, is based on ESL libraries, flashcards, and illustrations. Begin the class with the salutation, review the rules. Now here I might say, since we know rock, paper, scissors, I might go right into it with the rules. Introduce the warm-up. All right, everybody, let's get warmed up. Some words. Hooray, hooray. Okay, sports. What's the word? Sports. Try and get it to blend it. Get it up. Word on. Swim in. What in. Alright, now we begin our conversation part of the class. And it was based on Sports Day, so I came up with a quick little chant. And we go through it line by line. I go, training, 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 training every day. Get all the kids to stand up. Training, 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 training every day. I'm going to run, and I'm going to jump. Training, 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 training every day. I'm going to swim, and I'm going to win. It's kind of something I wrote. Training, 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 training every day. Good luck, good luck. Come on. Good luck on Sports Day. Good luck, everyone. And then we just kind of go through the whole thing. Training, 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 training every day. I'm going to run, and I'm going to jump. Training, 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 training every day. I'm going to swim, and I'm going to win. Training, 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 training every day. Good luck. Come on. Good luck on Sports Day. Good luck, everyone. So just kind of go through that. For warm up, I believe the next thing, I went right into sports to say it in English. Sports. I'm just kind of introducing the words. Run. A lot of them they know because, like, this is also in their textbook, and they did it in their English class with a Chinese teacher. So a lot of these words they're familiar with. And that's kind of why I placed that here instead of doing a sort of memory game. And I have a listening exercise also I did for this. Here is this one. So A, B, C, D, and F. Number 1, is Tom going to swish? And here the listening, and I try to utilize the question we're going to. So is Tom going to fish? No, he is going to swim. What do you think? A, B, C, D, E, or F? C, very good. Are we going to play basketball today? Yes, we are. We play basketball. Are you going to run the 100 meter? No, I'm going to run the 300 meter. What do you think? D, very good, run. Who is going to win on Sports Day? We are. Good. What is Tom doing on Sports Day? Tom is going to do the long jump. And what are you doing on Sports Day? I'm going to play soccer. F. This is one of those things when you're teaching English and in China, there's always the British and the English. There's always a little bit of confusion there because their textbook will teach one or the other, and your nationality might not, it might not be the language that you use based on your nationality. So, as an English teacher, ESL teacher, it's usually habitual that you teach them both. For things like, trunk and boot and soccer and football, and just kind of teach them both. Introduce the question. What are you going to do? Give them a question. Okay, so I am going to run. Goes here. Just kind of getting them to think of the sentence, the sentence structure. We go to dialogue duels. Here you have one student on one side of the classroom, one team, and one student on the other team. And you have them kind of stand up. You can have them look at the screen, or you can have them turn around. When you say ready, set, go. I'm going to swim. Yes, very good. Yes, once. I usually have them say the one that the quickest one wins. The one who says it first. I'm going to swim. Very good. That's the winner. Either I just give them a point, or I do rock, paper, scissors, stone, and the other student has to tell me, what is that? What is it again? What are you going to do? I'm going to swim. Very, very good. Now sit down. Let's go rounds of these. Sometimes I let them pick the next student to do it. Sometimes, if I have time, they seem to be behaving well. The basketball. You got a hold. Similar exercise, once again, repetition. It's a good thing in your classroom. Once you get exercises set up in your lessons or games that they're familiar with, I always recommend using them again because it will save you time and explanation. And kind of introduce yes, no, because I wanted to go into the yes, no question. Yes. Or no, I'm going to jump. And this is the game where I ask them, are you going to, I have them just kind of do a question. Give me the question. Are you going to run? Are you going to do? Are you going to? Well, here's what I do, is I'll have one student ask the question, are you going to fish? And now that student can say, yes, I'm going to fish, or no, I'm going to run. Right? So they can either say, yes, I'm going to fish, based on the question. If they say yes, you give them 3 points. If they say no, I'm going to swim, they get the 6 points. So they can kind of choose based on what the other student asks them to control the board, or take the chances with what the question implies. So it's kind of fun because because some students will take the opportunity to say, no, I'm going to visit the zoo. So they're just kind of reiterating the question, and it reinforces it pretty well. Once again, you're adding up points. Target language here, I'm trying to get them to kind of formulate the question. So here it's see, not me, so you. I go back to the pronouns. Are you going to what? Swim. Are you going to swim? The first student figures it out. I'll say, are you going to swim? Yes, I'm going to swim. Or no, I'm going to jump. Let's see. Yes, I'm going to swim. Stone. Okay, what's the question here? What's the question? So two. So are they going to run? Are they going to run? What's the question? Are they going to run? Are they going to run? No, they are going to blah blah blah. Oh, yes, they are going to run. Alright, so this is a girl. So is she going to what? Jump. Go through these. Are we going to the park? And then I have this game here called the Lucky Card. It's kind of, is she going to ride a horse? Is she going to ride a horse? Yes, she is. Or no, she's going to win. So they can, one student you might say, okay, is she going to ride a horse? And they can say, yes, she is going to ride a horse. Or, so the next team, you can say, no, she is going to swim. No, she's going to swim. Lose. Ride a horse, you win. Point. Are they going to play basketball? Are they going to play basketball? And they can say, no, they're going to the beach. Or they can say, no, they're going to the park. And say, no, they're going to play basketball. Or they can say, yes, they're going to play basketball. And depending on what they said, you get a winner. Just a couple variations on that. And that was pretty much it for going to. So this is my lesson on just kind of using going to, I am going to, or are going to, or is going to. Not necessarily using it in a grammatical context, but in a sort of usage, conversational context. This is for fourth graders. So I hope you enjoyed the lesson. I hope you enjoyed, I hope there's some activities or ideas in here that you can use. If you do, please let me know in the comment section below. I'd appreciate that. Or if you have any other ideas you'd like to share, I'd also appreciate it. I'd love to hear. Otherwise, thank you for watching. If you could please click like and subscribe, I would also appreciate that very much. All right, so this is OUTTAKE ESL, and we will talk to you later.